Lewis Hamilton is leaving Mercedes at the end of the season, and it looks like we now know why, thanks to his future team boss, Fred Vasseur. Now that Hamilton has a much better car than he had at the start of the season, could Mercedes be sorry about letting the 7-time world champion go to find a new team? And can they find someone new to help them win races again? With new rules coming that will make all the cars more equal, it's fair to say that the biggest shock in the F1 world happened when Lewis Hamilton told everyone at the beginning of the year that he was leaving Mercedes to join Ferrari starting in 2025. He made this announcement before he even tried driving the W15 car. The way this move happened made us think there was more going on behind the scenes than just how fast the car was, and it turns out that really does seem to be the main reason Hamilton decided to leave, according to what Frédéric Vasseur accidentally revealed. The French team boss talked about the partnership that's about to happen between one of the greatest teams in the world that really wants to get back to winning like they used to, and one of the most popular and best drivers in the sport. When he explained more about what kind of contract Hamilton signed with Ferrari, Vasseur said Lewis was an important sign because it sends a good message to everyone in the paddock about the team's future. He had to make a choice: where do I have the best chance to win the World Championship in 2025, 26 and 27? And he said Ferrari. For us, it's also the best way to get good people to come work for us. We already have good people, but I want to make our team even stronger. Most F1 workers live in the UK. If you move from Mercedes in Brackley to Red Bull in Milton Keynes, you can keep your kids in the same school and live in the same house. From Friday to Monday, you can just switch jobs. But coming to Italy is a different story. You have to move your whole family. It's a complete life change. And Lewis moving here will help us get other people to come too. Even though money isn't talked about here, rumors say that Hamilton is about to make a lot of money with his new Ferrari contract. Some reports say that with bonuses for doing well and sponsorship deals, he could make an amazing $100 million per year. From this point of view, it's pretty easy to understand. Ferrari wanted him, Ferrari needed him, Mercedes didn't, and that's the end of the story. But should this worry Mercedes now that everything is decided and the contracts are already signed? All of this is really important because if you think about it, Lewis actually decided to move his whole life to Italy instead of staying at Mercedes and trying to work something out with the team based in Brackley. But now that you see Mercedes wouldn't even promise him to guaranteed years, you can understand why Hamilton must have been frustrated when trying to make a deal with Toto Wolff. There were some early signs that Mercedes was already getting ready for life after Hamilton, like when they brought Russell as his teammate starting in 2022. Even though Hamilton openly wanted Bottas to stay as his teammate. True, no driver is more important than the team, and Hamilton should know that better than anyone. And if Mercedes hadn't signed Russell, who spent 3 years in a slow Williams car, he could have easily been taken by the big teams, which is the last thing you want to do as a top team, give a finished product to another team. But still, the engineers didn't really listen to Lewis's advice about the car under the new rules, even though he was mostly right about what he said about the W13, W14 and pre-Silverstone W15 versions of the car. Lewis Hamilton himself wanted the type of contract that Ferrari offered him, one that would promise him a seat beyond the first year of the new regulations. This was probably because he could have given a lot of input to make the car better throughout the season if something went really wrong. But the fact that there was a clause he could have used to leave Mercedes earlier than his contract was supposed to, and shows that he didn't think Mercedes would want to keep working with him. This feeling got stronger because they didn't renew Bottas's contract and signed a young and competitive driver next to him who wouldn't be willing to be the second best driver like Bottas was. If we look back at the advice these drivers gave to Mercedes, we can now understand how important Lewis is for the Silver Arrows. The Austrian team principal Wolff himself admitted this late in 2023 when he said they would follow Lewis's advice a lot more for the upcoming season. But even with that promise, the 7-time world champion decided it was time to move on with Ferrari and find a new home for his skills. This shows that Mercedes didn't value his name enough and thought they could find the solution without him. So they had the nerve to offer him a 1+1 contract that would promise him he could drive in 2025 and let the team choose another driver from 2026 onwards if they weren't happy with what he brought to the team. But what the team failed to realize or didn't pay enough attention to is the fact that Hamilton spent a lot of time testing the car and being the test dummy for the Silver Arrows. Even though Russell disagrees with a lot of these claims made by Hamilton and says they were both treated the same during this time. If we look at the standings, it was Hamilton who was fighting for third place in the Drivers' Championship last the year with a car that Toto Wolff called difficult to drive. Russell was way behind in the Drivers' Championship. While the situation is a bit different this year with the younger British driver out-qualifying Hamilton 10-2, the points difference is only 1 point in favor of Russell. True, the DNF helped us a lot, but even without it Hamilton would have made the gap smaller, which is pretty impressive when you think about his worst starting positions. Now Hamilton's future is with Ferrari, and Fred Vasseur has talked about the challenges that are waiting for him and his team to give the 7-time world champion the right equipment to continue the winning streak that ended back in 2021. Talking about this, Vasseur said, if you are scared about taking risks, you play it safe everywhere. And in our business, you can have 5 cars within 1/10 of a second of each other. I spent the last 15 months pushing everybody because the more we take risks, the better we will be at managing those risks. And I'm really happy with the step forward at Ferrari. We don't have to be scared about what might happen from what we are doing. The team maybe in the past was a bit scared about outside pressure. But it is my job to handle this, to push them to be a bit more aggressive, and then to take responsibility for the mistakes when we make them. But if you were to ask Hamilton, his move away from Mercedes, although heavily related to the contract situation and the fact that the team wasn't ready to commit to him for longer, as it seems like they strangely didn't recognize the potential and value he brings to them, was also driven by the fact that he is a racer and he wants to try new challenges. When talking about why he left Mercedes, Hamilton didn't say being unhappy was a reason either. He added, "I'm not leaving Mercedes because I'm unhappy there. I'm not leaving because of relationship problems. Mercedes has been with me through good times and bad times, so it is definitely a strange change right now. We exist to win, and when you're not winning, your way of thinking has to change. It's then about chasing and getting better. It's about coming together. How can we make improvements? How can we get back to where we want to be and get everyone excited?" I actually really enjoy that experience. It's no secret that this has been made even stronger by his latest record-breaking 104th win in his career. His 9th win at Silverstone as well. But still, the future ahead of him is red, and he will have to make sacrifices and try to win championships, driving with yet another competitive driver, Charles Leclerc. Although we don't know yet what this relationship will be like and which direction it will take, whether Hamilton will be able to succeed in his first year at Ferrari, it's safe to assume that we are very likely going to see fierce battles on the track between these two, although a lot of respect has been shown between them throughout the current season when they found out they would be teammates. With all of this in mind, do you think that Hamilton has what it takes to turn things around at Ferrari? And more importantly, do you think that he was treated unfairly by Mercedes, given the fact that he could have been their ambassador and represented the brand for the rest of his career and life? Let us know in the comments below, and once you do that, have a look at the video that's on your screen right now.